I want to thank Keen for sponsoring today's video. To help you navigate your day-to-day challenges, Keen is kicking off National Psychic Week on August 2nd and celebrating mindfulness and well-being with exclusive promotions, access to experienced and talented Keen advisors, customized content, special offers, and more. Keen understands the importance of taking time to maintain spiritual and mental wellness, especially in today's current climate, and Keen provides its advisors and its customers the tools to do so. My favorite thing about Keen is the variety, whether it be with the way you want your information presented to you from your particular advisor or the way the advisor approaches the reading itself. This is because I feel each advisor in their particular method of delivering the information has something unique to offer. So that's why I like to be able to work with so many different advisors in order to hear their own spin on it. But no matter how the information was delivered to me, it was always extremely thoughtful and helpful. I can get all of this 24/7 because Keen advisors are always available and someone is always online, and you can easily schedule a call with your particular advisor at a more convenient time. Keen provides access to these variety of vetted psychics and spiritual advisors who provide guidance and insight on life's challenges, clarity in love, relationships, career, and more. As a new Keen customer, when you use the code trykeen.com/supermoontarot, you will get your first 10 minutes for just $1.99. Pricing then depends on which advisor you choose, and the services are backed with a satisfaction guarantee. Signing up is also very easy. All you have to do is put in your name, your birthday, then you let them know, would you like to receive the information more gentle or a little more straightforward? And then you can even pick if you want to receive it through tarot card readings or whatever you choose. From there, then you get a whole list of psychics you can choose from and can try them out and see which ones you connect to most. Keen is the most affordable way to meet new advisors. When you find the right advisor, developing an ongoing relationship leads to a number of benefits. Monthly intention setting, gaining clarity on the significance of synchronicities, chakra clearing, and any additional reasons you may have. Each week, Keen sends its users discounts on readings. This makes Keen one of the most affordable ways to receive multiple psychic readings. If you're a current Keen user, check your email to see this week's discounts. Again, I want to thank Keen for sponsoring today's video. Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video, we are going to be looking at important messages from your higher self. And what I am especially excited about today is I have 4 of my spirit guides here. I am very excited. Normally, I'm going to let you in with a little bit of behind the scenes. The way I read the cards is a combination of like evidence, information symbols that I've taken time to develop and learn, psychicness, and then 3, my spirit guides. They're a major factor of how I like to read the cards and get information. And the way it usually works is I have 2 spirit guides that will show up on either end over here. This one is usually the one that is, we could describe as your supervisor, the person who watches over everything. And then over here, this was the newer spirit guide that has come into my life over the last couple months. And they love tarot. They're exceptionally good at it. I just love working with them. And then sometimes these 2 like to either work on tarot at the same time, or sometimes this one will be like, I'm going to be the one doing tarot and they're going to be supervising. And it's just like a beautiful combination. But I have 4 main spirit guides that I work with most predominantly in general in life. And all 4 of them are here today. I was a little surprised and very excited and happy. And I was so pumped about it. They were like, tell them about it. And I was like, okay, heck yeah, I want to talk about it. So I just wanted to let you know, this is just personally exciting for me because I don't normally work with all 4 of them. So you'll have to give me a moment if I have to, sort through all the clutter of speaking and all the information. I'm sure this will work seamlessly. It always does. And let's get started. We have 4 groups in front of us. Oh no, I was going to get crystals. You know what? Pretend there's crystals here. Well, let's just go with this excitement. Anyways, so we have 4 groups in front of us. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pick whatever group that you resonate with most, or consider this. Kind of take a moment to meditate and be in that higher self mindset. What would your higher self choose? and then pick the cards. So let me give you a moment to do so. Now that you have, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group and mark timestamp. Let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's look at those important messages from your higher self by looking at the cards. Your oracle card is Stuck in the Mud in reverse. 4 of Pentacles upright. 5 of Pentacles upright. 4 of Swords upright. And the Hangman in reverse. Whoa, the vibration in this room is like off the hook. Give me a second. Interesting. Okay, so this is actually a really easy peasy in concept scenario we have going on, but it will feel difficult because this is something that it's one of those things where I'm not trying to be elusive. I'm gonna get to it in one second. It's one of those scenarios where someone's like, let's say they just say, stop thinking about it. And you're like, oh, I'm trying. I am trying to not think about it. It's a simple enough concept, but it's going to take you a little bit of time. It's going to take you a second, and there's nothing wrong with that. But let's get into this bigger scenario, because what's really interesting going on here is for some of you, it's about money. For some of you, this topic is about love, but it's this like core principle that is more importantly the issue that when you solve this, it's essentially opening the gateway to get everything you want. And that's the big thing going on from your higher self. So over here, I can see, I can see in these 4 cards especially, that in the Stuck in the Mud Oracle card in reverse, that you've been wanting something for a while. You want it intensely, and it is just not happening. You're making an effort. You are being proactive. I can see there's a lot of good intentions here. It's not necessarily that you're doing something wrong with your affirmations. You're trying. You're not being inherently negative. Nothing like that. So you're like, what the heck am I doing wrong? I'm trying and trying and trying. This is so frustrating. Well, here's the thing. This card pops up when we are so focused on it. We have such a grip on it that we start to get too detailed with the whens and hows and wheres, and it becomes too exact. Now, this is some food for thought before we get into, and we do get into how you're going to overcome this. Your higher self has got some just great, really simple guidance we got going on here. But here's the important thing to understand the food for thought concept. There is no rules when it comes to things like law of attraction, manifestation. If you want to get really specific, you can. In fact, actually, it's not a commonly known thing, but many people say when you're wishing for manifestations, you have to do it in the present tense. That is actually not true. You can, if you want to, say, I hope, I will, I'd like that to happen, and kind of put that positive momentum forward in other ways. It's just that most of us are unable to handle saying that terminology for too long before we start to it's more comfortable to always kind of keep it 2 weeks away from us, if that makes sense. It's always comfortable to say that it will happen one day, maybe it will happen, and it's harder we start to find that as our sort of safety net. And that is why we use things like present tense. So I just want to put it out there, the fact that you do want it in a specific way isn't necessarily always a bad concept to go over in the long-term future. But right now, it's just not meant to be due to your hold. That's one thing. You have to practice the ability in letting go. And what's going to make you feel better is also in turn going to teach you that. But also in the Hangman and reverse card, I can see that it's just a timing issue. Sometimes it's just the way it is. We are able to control quite a lot, create a lot, but there's also a lot of unseen forces working simultaneously. I mean, anything from karma contracts to, you look back and when in the long term you go, thank goodness I didn't receive this thing I wanted then. this other better thing came along, and I'm really glad I didn't get distracted. I wouldn't have been happy here. I'm so much happier here. You know what I mean? So it's easier to simplify the process and be like, it's just not the right time. But I am seeing the positive omen that something better is coming along. So this is one of the reasons why it's just causing you to become more and more focused of like, how can I control the little details in order to force it to happen, so to speak. That idea gets repeated over here in the Four of Pentacles and encompasses this main idea I want you to really understand in your head. This is the main thing that's preventing the manifestation, because in a weird way, we can be negative in it's like we look over it. We don't realize it's a small way we're being negative. Think of the Four of Pentacles as like you're checking your emails over and over again. Maybe you're waiting to hear back from someone or about a job. This could be romantic, whatever. And you're just checking your updates over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. You need to see that proof. You're really just holding on. You're not giving any room or opportunity. And on a subconscious level, you're kind of starting to expect that it isn't there. Or you're holding those expectations too high. It just, your grip is becoming tighter and tighter and tighter. And in turn, you're basically saying to the universe, well, I don't trust that you're going to give it to me. I've got to see it. I've got to control it. I don't trust that it's going to happen. And it is a two-way partnership in order to make all this stuff happen. It's you and the universe making it happen. So you have to pull back, essentially. So in that pulling back process we got over here is in the Five of Pentacles upright and the Four of Swords. Both of these cards are very important to talk about. When one of my spirit guides over here that doesn't normally show specifically for tarot pointed out, especially with the Five of Pentacles, because there is a danger here that you might potentially think that you need to see other people be overcoming or letting go or lamenting the same stuff as you. Now, this does not mean you are a Debbie Downer, not at all. You are not intentionally trying to sabotage anyone, make anyone uncomfortable, not at all. That's not the idea. It's more like it's like going to the gym with a friend. You feel more motivated. It's like your subconscious brain is looking for someone else who can kind of overcome this issue and overcome this sense of lacking that you are unintentionally but still subconsciously putting out there. And it feels easier if you can share that with someone, essentially. But here's the thing, you're not meant to. You are not meant to. You're kind of learning the sort of lesson to do it on your own, if you will. And that doing it on your own is very important. Because while other people might come in your life and help make your dreams come true, whether they buy your product or they are a part of giving you an opportunity or something like that, there's something that you need to learn about the ability of standing on your own and not needing to depend on other people in this kind of way. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. But also simultaneously then when you are alone, not taking on the mentality that you are all alone. It's this empowering thing of going, okay, I'm parting away from this. I don't need to have this scenario with somebody else. But also if I'm alone, I can do this. I'm not more isolated. People do understand what I've been through. Other people have been through it as well. And in a weird way, from far across the universe, we are connected. But it is also about that air conditioner totally distracted my other point. It's not just... Oh, the other thing is, thank you for your patience. The other thing is, it's not just about socially connecting with other people. For you, especially with the Four of Pentacles and the Stuck in the Oracle card, all three of these cards talk about the idea of like you needing proof. You physically need to see it in front of you, and you need to see an example before you believe. But here's the catch-22. When it comes to making anything happen, especially out of thin air, especially if it seems impossible, which nothing is impossible, just fact, law, you need to be able to see and believe without proof. Even if a little bit of time goes by, you need to still be like, doesn't matter what my emails say, I know there's an email there that says I've got the job. I know there's an email there that says this person wants to talk to me more, whatever that may be. And you're sort of developing this ability during this, overcoming the situation, of overcoming this unintentional negativity. You're practicing letting go more. You're practicing trusting the universe and allowing the universe to do its part more. You're allowing yourself to just relax, unwind, and kind of hit the restart button, if you will. So you're kind of getting everything all at once. By the way, before I go into that, I just want to say the Five of Pentacles, again, is another happy, positive omen that you will be overcoming this. Don't worry. It is also saying that it will take a little while. If it is difficult for you and you feel that struggle and every day you just go, yeah, well, I'm practicing, it's not getting easier. It will. It's just you might not feel the momentum of it getting easier, and you have to say to yourself, day 3, day 4, day 5, you breathe a sigh of relief and you go, you know what? I'm going to feel it tomorrow. It's going to click tomorrow. And you have to just believe and understand that your grip is a little more intense than maybe others. And so it's going to take a little longer to let it go. But that does not mean the letting go process is going to take months. You know what I mean? What might feel like a long time for 2 or 3 weeks is really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme. But you are being forewarned that if you do not take care of this, this will be an issue that will continue to plague you. So this is kind of the key of overcoming all of this. And how do you do all that? You essentially just turn everything off. You kind of put your dream on the back burner and you just take a whole break. For the next week, I want you to say, okay, you know what? I still have these dreams. I still have this, whatever. I still want them to have these things come true. I'm turning off, various things that are my typical vices of checking and needing to see proof. And then after, do you look at something and then right after looking something, say something negative to yourself and beat yourself up about it? You're not going to be looking at that for the next week. And you're only going to go finally binge watch all the shows you've been needing to watch for a while, or go for a walk. Just really sedentary, chilled out. This is not hobby time. This is just relax, unplug, and just melt into nothingness of just totally give yourself permission that you can progress while doing nothing. I know that's kind of a warped concept, and we're going to get into this last part and one last concept, but consider this. If you continue doing the actions you've been doing, if you look at the last 6 weeks, you've been performing those type of affirmations, not seeing results. Has anything changed in all that time you've been repeating these ideas, right? But what if you let go for a week? Just give yourself a break. You feel refreshed. You have a little bit of more perspective. It's a little bit more manageable to work on the whole truly letting go and wishing for something and then not thinking about it the rest of the day. You know what I mean? And while it might be hard and difficult, you somehow seem to have a breakthrough in a matter of just a mere 3 weeks. And then suddenly all your manifestations are coming true and it's easier. And it's, all of a sudden you have to look at yourself and go, am I really taking more time, wasting more time? Is there time to be wasted, so on and so forth? You see what I'm saying? Or can I afford this and it's going to actually be the faster process? Sometimes what seems like the slower process is in turn the faster process, because this process might only take 3 weeks and what wasn't even working before took 6. Does this make sense? Did you see what I'm saying? It's like seeing the grander scheme of it all. And that's the big thing with taking the break and letting go and realizing. And this is the last thing I want to talk about, and this is important. With the Hangman in reverse, this talks about the idea of when you finally get out there, you're not going to feel perfect. You're not going to, as you start manifesting, wishing, and practicing new tactics, you're not going to feel perfect. And that's the beauty. You do not need to have all your dreams come true and simultaneously feel perfect. Not in the least. You're going to get out there and it's going to finally be the right time. Everything's going to have divinely worked out like you had always wanted it to, and suddenly laugh at the big cosmic joke of like, oh, it worked out just as it needed to. I needed to struggle. I needed to go through X, Y, and Z before I understood it. Then the other thing over here is understanding, see how this is in reverse? Think of if they had been up, this card had been upright. Think of this as the ground. You're too familiar with it. You're always stuck in the mud, here in the ground. We want to get you out of that type of thinking. The ground type of thinking, or grounding type of thinking, is again very connected to tangible, physical things you can see, taste, touch, evidence. And that's not working for you. And when things don't work for us, we got to do the opposite. So here you're being too specific, we're going to be general. You're never giving yourself a break, you're getting a break. In thinking that you need to see things, they need to be really clear, definitive, I want you to practice as you step out of letting go that you're just going to dream. make the dream more impossible, make the dream seem more wild, and be even more wild and believe in every single action and thing you do that it's happening right now. Every single thing. Everything. It does not matter. Do not say, well, I'm working on it. I'm trying. Yep, fingers crossed. You say a positive affirmation almost sarcastically and go back to talking for another hour with a friend or loved one about how, well, you're looking forward to it happening, but it's not happening right now. No. Literally, just don't talk about it if you feel uncomfortable saying these statements, but say to yourself constantly, oh, it's happening right now. I'm currently next to the love of my life. I am currently counting all my bills. Put $100 in your pocket and just sit there, and just every time you walk around, just be like, oh, I could buy that. I could buy that. I could buy that. And just always put out this almost fantasy world, because what you were doing before wasn't working, so we're doing something different. And I'm really excited for all your dreams to come true. Your higher self just wants you to change things up, get a nice break. Who doesn't love that? So if you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. Helps out like you would not believe. Share, hit that notification bell. All that positive stuff helps me out so much. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I'm wishing you the best. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's look at those messages from your higher self by looking at the cards. We've got Wizard of Awareness upright. I'm sorry. Does this not look like Mark Hamill? Does that not look like him? That's so funny. Wizard of Awareness upright. I already know what this is about, especially when we have the 2 of Pentacles upright, 3 of Pentacles upright, the World in reverse, how appropriate, and 3 of Pentacles in reverse. Yep. Okay, I'm excited. I can already go. I already know what to say and do. I can hear what my guides are saying. We're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to use as an example here the idea of the concept of morals, like yin and yang. People tend to see things as light and shadow. And then some people talk about the idea, and keep in mind, stick with me here, because what I'm going to say right now has nothing to do with what is actually going on and what your higher self is talking about, but we're going to get there. This is going to be a bigger concept. And so when we talk about the idea of light and shadow, some people would argue there's gray in between and that you should see it and look in it. But here's the thing. It is not about choosing one side. It's not about the light. It's not about the shadow. It's not about the gray. It's not about seeing them all at once or one or little. It's like out of the moral jurisdiction, you would take more of an abstract perspective and be like, why are we discussing morals at all? Why is that important? I see that this is a topic of discussion. Why aren't we looking at it from this angle and that angle? So I'm going to use the idea that there's one perspective and one scenario and everyone's focused on this, and you're going to take a totally different, you're going to be totally outside of the box with this perspective. So when I say the terms yin and yang and morals, understand I'm not talking about morals. That's not the quandrum or problem here. It's just the metaphor I'm using. And we're talking about looking outside of the box, starting to ask the idea that you would look, if you would look at this scenario, you would be like, wow, that means we're all philosophizing over how we interact with each other. Wow, we're really focused on interacting, but do we think about building? Do we think about, you see what I'm saying? You're kind of expanding beyond just the subject in front of you, and that is very much what's going on here. So let's start with that idea with the Wizard of Awareness upright. I cannot get over how much he looks like Mark Hamill. This is really fun and interesting because the Wizard of Awareness asks you to experience life from much more of a neutral perspective. This is a bit of a skill to develop. I do want you to keep that in mind, that it's especially with where you're at right now, you've sort of trained yourself to have a reaction to everything. Again, not that you're emotional or overly judgmental in the term of like defining things, again, based on morals. We're going to get into specifics here. It's going to make more sense in a second. But you're going to develop the ability right now, it's important, to see things, and before you react and even make a statement about it, you're just kind of looking at it. You're going to develop the ability to have no emotional reaction. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not small, it's not big. You're just seeing it for what it is. I mean, think about right now, if you look up, I don't know where you're watching this video, but in fact, actually, please let me know in the comments. Again, I loved hearing everybody in the last video when they were talking about their favorite snacks and what they were doing. I just love the comment section so much. You guys are so cute. Anyways, so also a lot of insightful stuff, by the way. I totally learned from you guys as much as I hope that I'm helping teach you guys something. So anyways, so you are going to look at some object in the room and you're going to pick it and look at it. Your first thought is you look at that random object and you go, there it is. Like, there's nothing deeper you're saying to yourself. You're like, there it is. It's a chair. It's, there's that box with some stuff in it. And your first reaction is that. And maybe over time you think about a memory with it, so on and so forth. But it's a lot easier due to seeing that object every day. You don't have any deep connection to it. But this is important because that sort of initial, we'll say, assessment you make whenever you are interacting with anyone or anything in your day-to-day life is causing a hindrance to you. That by giving a neutral form, not only that does that help emotionally, but what you're doing is you're getting out of the way. You're allowing your brain to be filled with other ideas and concepts. If you stood back from it long enough, saw everything, and didn't just quickly file it away in some sort of category that you put it in. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the filing of categories. It's not the good and the bad. It's just general categories at all. So that's the development coming in. Now we can get into some more, now we're going to go into more specifics. So again, with the Two of Pentacles, I can see it's not an issue with, again, of the good and the bad. It's more like you're juggling life, right? And you have to, and you feel like every day when you're making assessments or going through your work, whatever you're working on, there's a sense of this goes here, this goes there. This is how you navigate, how things feel comfortable and easy, and this is where the categorizing comes in. It's pretty innocent. Many people would argue, well, I have to make it a statement with a job. No. There is still a way to accomplish what you need to accomplish and get your personal opinion out of it. The job has tricked you into thinking you need to put a personal job or an assessment. Example, let's say, again, I always use the example as a barista. Let's say you're a barista and you're going to go work on where they make like Frappuccino type of drinks, right? And you know the ingredients that need to be put into that drink. You don't need to say, oh, I hate working in this section, or these type of people, these, a lot of times younger people like to always order these. I find that annoying, or whatever the situation. I'm just filling in like random like concepts and scenarios and stuff like that. It's just about going, I'm going to put these, ingredients in this drink, and I'm just going to kind of look at everything. I'm going to start observing all the containers, how someone thought about this in order to make my job easier in putting this all together. You're just going to really let your brain wander creatively in that idea by removing away, sectioning things off with typical thoughts or first assessments, opinions, stuff like that, in every single which way. And this would be the area of your life you spend the most time in the day doing. So consider that, because it's starting to leak over into personal interactions with people, anybody you meet, and you're starting to become someone who every time you experience anything, you have an opinion initially. And that's kind of right now what your higher self is trying to get you away from. They're helping you gain a new perspective by approaching things with a new perspective. But the only way to gain this new perspective is by taking this more neutral approach to things. Now, before we get into this, and this is really important, we're going to talk about these threes. These threes are very important. I want you to understand something with the wizard awareness. Consider this. This is a very Taoist type of perspective. And the Taoists believe that the universe is essentially by default working in your favor. So with that core belief and principle, they just have to step out of the way and everything just divinely works out the way it works out. We all have that person we've known some point in our life where it's just like, man, they didn't do anything and everything worked out for them. go figure, maybe there's some magic going on there. You know what I mean? Now keep in mind, you're still going to have the intentions with your higher self. Your higher self wants you to work on things like, whether this be your job or whatever you're consuming most of your day doing or thinking. You're going to still be working towards that and having a sort of intention. You're not going to be totally sitting in the back seat. But by taking this more neutral state, you are essentially allowing more opportunities and ideas to flow your way. So we'll get into that in one second. So these 3 of Pentacles are super important, but the number 3 is really important. This is actually really exciting and fun because I was just asking my spirit guides while I was doing all this, like, hey, can I tell them about what I was learning in the Akashic Records? I travel there a lot and love to look up information. And I was like, can I tell them about the number 3? Can I specifically talk about the number 3? And they were like, yes, that's what is the main scenario going on. That's why we see it here with the 3 loops. We see it over here, and we see it here repeated again. If you see another 3 on here and I'm not seeing it, please feel free to point it out in the comments. So here is your subconscious going on. This is not what you're aware you need to be asking yourself, and this is where your higher self is trying to help you to get to by approaching it this way. And this is the main issue. So the 3 of Pentacles, this is a subconscious desire you don't even know you're asking, is asking for a sense of harmony. Now, harmony can get really, with 3s, and this is how 3 is defined through harmony, can get really specific. It's not just quote unquote general harmony. It is about 3 things specifically harmonizing. I'm going to get into specifics in 1 second. But you're looking for this. You're looking for this sense of harmony or being able to see the harmony in order to finally finish this momentum of what's going on in the world card. This is why there's a sense of, again, it feels very subconscious, this energy behind you. You feel like something's building up. You're not quite sure what it is. For some of you, you are directly trying to get something, some sort of promotion, whatever this may be with someone, whatever. There's a sense of I want to get this thing. But many of you, you're like, well, I'm doing my job. I mean, I have big dreams. I hope one day I will get X, Y, and Z. For now, I'm working towards the thing. I didn't know something was around the corner. Well, it is, and it's big, and it's being sort of paused. There's a pause button on it due to you not being able to find the harmony you need in order to basically finish and complete this. The world card is begging you to, oh gosh, I don't know if you can hear this, but my neighbors upstairs are dropping pennies or something. It's so loud. Sorry about that. Anyways, going back to what we were saying, you were really needing to finish this. It's right there. And when you receive it, it's going to be big. The world card is a big thing. It's full of huge things. This is almost similar to the death card where it's there's a suddenly huge metamorphosis. This is a new you, new job, new promotion. It's always big and it's always filled with nice prizes. And if this includes money for you, it will include money. You get what I'm saying? So it's a big deal that you are naturally right around the corner of this. So this is what your higher self is essentially helping you get to, which we love. So what is harmony? What do you mean? I see clearly we need to shift from this perspective to the more harmony element in order to accomplish this. So the Akashic Record says the number 3 can be described by harmony. Harmony is 2 things interacting and then creating a third thing, and then by all 3 things interacting with one another, and they do all affect each other, that in turn is the harmony. And by understanding how important they all are and how they all affect each other, that in turn is the harmony. So to give you a couple examples, one example is parents. You have 2 parents interacting. They create a baby, and that baby is going to affect each person, which in turn is going to affect someone else, and so on and so forth. They need all of each other to be this sort of family unit. Another example would be life passing away, birth passing away, life in between. Technically, you need all of those things to exist. You see how they harmoniously affect each other. Another example, the moon and the shores, like the tide coming in and out, right? Well, that then creates an environment on Earth that we exist in. A lot of things are affected by that sort of gravitational pull, interaction, everything like that. And in turn, that also affects the moon and its placement and the water and so on and so forth. Do you see what I'm saying here? There is a sense of harmony you're looking for in your current place. Now, it could be you, your interaction with coworkers, and how the work's getting done. Now, you might say, well, what if this harmony is off? It's not that the harmony needs to then be on. You can do your best to make it happen. You're welcome to make that happen. My guides are telling me that it's not necessary that it is harmoniously happening. It's just important that you understand what is your harmony, what is creating the sense of harmony, and by seeing it and realizing and going, oh, that's what I want. That would make me feel more at peace. That's what I need. Then it in turn will then set off the world card being upright, you finally coming to this accomplishment and receiving this prize that we want you to receive. But you can only receive this harmony if you take a more neutral state, because it's right in front of you and you can't see it now due to being so quick to kind of label everything away. What if you accidentally put something away in a file cabinet of a category that you didn't even know you were categorizing it wrong technically, or not allowing a bunch of inspiration to be there? And again, it goes back to that moral thing we talked about in the very beginning, the idea of light and shadow and gray. We're going beyond the morals. Again, it's not about morals, we remember that, but it's the idea, what are they dropping up there? What is happening up there? Sorry. Anyways, going on. It's about overcoming and seeing a bigger issue and gaining a perspective you would have never had before and even questioned or saw. You weren't even realizing you needed harmony. And now, just an added extra clue, if you're wondering what is this harmony, how can I get closer to the clues? This harmony pops up in our lives in this way for big things. This would be a big, big thing. This would not be... Example, many people connect things like their love life, how they feel about their body, and maybe their career. And all of those three things start to affect one another if one of them is out of balance. That's not everyone's harmony, but for some people that is. Do you see what I'm saying here? And maybe if you take time to relax more and sleep more, you feel like you have more energy at work, and because you have more confidence and you're doing it well at work, you feel like a more confident version of yourself when you present yourself to your romantic partner. Do you see what I'm saying here? So it would be big, it would be obvious, it wouldn't just be some small, minute detail. Sometimes that's the case, but not the case with you. So it should be easy and obvious to see. But it's about looking at these harmonious things, understanding how two things came together to create something else. Maybe you're the something else, something to consider. And understanding how they all harmoniously look together and backing away and seeing that. See the bigger picture. Don't label it, don't put it away, how this equals this. Just look at it. And that is going to mysteriously and magically trigger this. So yeah, love that. Your higher self is wise as heck, of course. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get... Oh, wait, like, comment, subscribe, share, notification bell, all that positive jazz. Helps out the channel like you would not believe. I think I said that. Let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's look at those messages from your higher self by looking at the cards. We have Magic Stream upright oracle card, King of Swords upright, Ace of Pentacles upright, 2 of Pentacles in reverse, and 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, let me just ask a specific question here real quick to my guides. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is a really, I love this one. Okay. So essentially what we are trying to overcome here, and I love this because your higher self went above and beyond as they lovingly should, or they how do I put this? When you get to a certain point and your higher self is like the best, most woke version of yourself, you think, I'm not only going to solve the situation, I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to give them something else. So I not only see one main core thing being solved, but I see it then being added upon, and I see a financial opportunity. So I'm very excited for you, and I love seeing what your higher self basically has mapped out for you. So we're going to use the example over here in the King of Swords before we get into the important method of thinking. This is really important, and then essentially what you need to do after this, because this is super important, and then where you're going to go from there is super important, and then what it's all going to equal up to. So in the King of Swords, as you notice, around our wonderful, we're going to have you depicted as this is you. You are surrounded by clouds, mist. This is everybody trying to make it seem like things are unknowable, unseeable. It's super frustrating and limiting, and there's a lot of negativity and just a sense of cloudiness, or it's this really, there's a type of negativity that's, you might not even know it's negative because it's disguised and much more pleasant sounding and experiencing. It's like, oh yeah, you never know, or whatever. And it's almost like passive aggressive, and no one's attacking you. It's not like that. It's more that if you feel like when you look up in the world and when you talk with people, if it's not completely filled with wonder and yeah, then we're going to do this, we're going to do that, it is secretly creating this mist around you. And the thing about the floor underneath this version of you is it's pink. Pink, a lot of people don't know this, is the color of freedom. It is just, I love the association. It's absolutely beautiful. And see how you're kind of creating your own little free world, little happy space. Above you are some beautiful butterflies, some, ability to fly away, metamorphosis, just transformative, beautiful. You're like, yeah, I've got it's small right now, but I've carved out my little space. No, mist or cloudy type of negativity is coming in there. It's going to be clear, concise, especially with the sword. The King of Swords is somebody who knows what they are doing. They make smart decisions. They make them quick. They're sure of themselves from both enough research and awareness, but they're just smart. They just know how to see how the world fits and works. And this is basically the indicator that, like, you're good. You know what to do. It's more than intuition. It's a lot of logic kicking in. But it's you being unmovable, unwavering. You're carving out your little space in the world. And this is essentially going to kind of skyrocket you off to where we want you to go, which this is really interesting and fun where your path is headed. You're going to love this. So, keeping that in mind, while logic is a strong suit for you, and this is going to sound a little bit like, how do I say this? Kind of like, what's the word when you contradict yourself? It's going to sound contradictive, but hear me out here. It's going to go somewhere. While this is also your strength, and there's a lot of decision making and logic, and we love that, sometimes this concisiveness, due to the influence of the surrounding kind of limited perspective around you, not your perspective, the perspective that's trying to surround you, can cause what needs to be helped in the Magic Stream Oracle card upright. And to get specific about this, the Magic Stream pops up to say, stop seeing life and each individual event you're experiencing as separate. Stop compartmentalizing. Realize that it is a continuous, beautiful flowing stream, and each event is perfectly melting into one another. And this is the thing. This type of realization makes you suddenly feel this deep sense of wonder, complete opposite from the limited perspective over here that you deeply need. You need wonder, you need hope, because when you emanate that, that is what you get back. If you believe in impossible things, you receive them, but you have to put it out there in order to have it. But this card pops up when you're compartmentalizing it, when you're just like, that was the one thing, whatever, okay, I do this, and then I accomplish this, and I accomplish that. You're not leaving any room. You're not seeing the connectivity. You're not pulling away, realizing, how did you get to be the person you are right now? Even if you're like, well, I don't know if I like the version of I am right now. It doesn't matter. Think of it. How did it happen? And it's not meant to end with you journaling and going, woe is me. I don't like how these chain events happened. What did you get from it? Did you become more empathetic? Did you understand how other people should be treated? Did you understand what did work in your life and what didn't, including social interaction or experiences you had? Are you more knowledgeable, if not a little maybe sad at times, than you were before? Okay, well, we can fix the sadness, and you can know what you do want. which is really beautiful. But consider every time you get a little too logical, a little too like having to define it, people are putting you in a position to define your individual, experiences, see them all as separate, as you being sort of like a beaver creating a dam. You don't want that. You want to remove it, so to speak. And I apologize if you can hear my upstairs neighbors doing I don't even know what. I hear them knocking, they're dropping pennies. I mean, it's wild up there right now. So we're just gonna kind of go with the flow here. Please apologies. I hope it's not bothering the video too much. So anyways, with this type of flowing wonder, we're gonna carry this out. You're gonna suddenly realize no matter who's surrounding you, you can always carve out your own little bit of space. And you can take this wonder and start to see that now that you're a part of the process, now that this stream of consciousness is flowing through, you start to realize it's all connected. It all means something. You can be a part of the process and just kind of love the whole experience and turn it into something that really more works out in your favor, essentially. And so then you're going to take this idea and you're going to give it to someone else. This is the main interaction going on over here. I can see over here in the Two of Pentacles in reverse, and I was checking in with my guides. This is not somebody you know. You're not going to know them well. They're going to be kind of an acquaintance, maybe someone you meet when you're traveling or something like that. You just talk to them for a second, you hear their story, but things are kind of off for them. It's the type of thing where it's like, they're not complaining. It's just a bunch of things didn't work out their way. They kept showing up late for work and it caught up with them. They dropped a bunch of papers. This would be a bunch of small stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry about this. The reason why I'm not pausing is sometimes I will be in a position where I'll pause and then suddenly they're silent and then I start recording. And then they go again. It's like, it's just easier to keep going, especially when we know what, we can go with the stream of thought of what's going on here. So anyways, wrapping this up, you're going to help them and you're going to tell them what you know. You're going to share this knowledge. Now, it is not important if they leave this conversation and they're not, completely wonder-filled. That's not important. You have to just plant the seed and they can choose to receive it or not receive it. Oh my, okay, I'm going to just wrap this up the best I can. I don't know what's going on. Apologies. Please give this video a like. Please. I'm trying my best here. To finish it up, the place where you're going is over here in the Six of Pentacles. As you can see, they are somebody who's incredibly giving because they are vibrating at a much higher level. This is where your higher self wants you to get to. They want you always vibrating happier or higher. They want you to be happy, full of love, seeing the bigger picture, never bothered, and therefore always vibrationally attracting to yourself the best case scenario, the best possible situation. You're essentially a beacon without even having to wish for, you receive. And by overcoming and understanding this idea, then seeing this seed, sharing it with someone else, by starting to create this dynamic. It's not about you being a more giving person and being generous all the time. That's not the main goal. It's by realizing that you have something to offer, then giving this to someone else, seeing them affected by this, so on and so forth. You start to be in this high vibrational element. And this is more of a clue that you finally made it to that high vibrational place by this popping up, you sharing this opportunity. You see what I'm saying over here? And it all coming together. This is more of a clue than what you need to do the rest of your life. But the cool thing about this is, so you're feeling better, you feel more free, you feel more in charge of your life, you're in flow with the universe, everything's beautiful and great. Well, guess what? Universe kind of right away gives you a job opportunity. It is a job opportunity. I am being told it's not a chunk of money. It is a job opportunity. And you're just going to be really happy and excited. And, you can choose not to take it if you don't want to, but it looks like something that's definitely unexpected and something you're going to really love. So I kind of feel like it's a hard yes either way. But again, this is your choice. So I'm excited for you. Your higher self is helping you feel better. Your higher self is just bringing you up, making you feel vibrate at a much higher level, and you get a better job opportunity. Who doesn't love that? Thank you, higher self. Oh my goodness. On that very loud note, please consider giving this video a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please share it. This doesn't happen often. Thank you so much for your patience. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. A quieter one, I might mention. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's find out what important messages are coming from your higher self by looking at the cards. We've got Strength card in reverse. The High Priestess in reverse. I already know what this is about. Yep, 7 of Wands in reverse. Ooh, 2 of Cups upright. And Ace of Wands in reverse. Tell me this does not, before I get into this, tell me this does not look like grown-up Kim Possible. Do you know what I'm talking about? Doesn't that look like her? Or she would be in that like absolutely fantastic movie Clueless. I love that movie. Okay. All right. So let me just ask one more question before I get into this. Okay. Okay, cool. I love this. Okay, so this is going to be a little initially hard to hear. It's not that big of a deal. We can totally fix this and solve this. And in fact, the thing that you could say is quote unquote causing everything else is also the solution. So we love that. Essentially, it's not anything to be criticized about. So here's our big indicators or clues. I mean, well, all these 3 in this one over here are big ones, but let's get started. The theme of the spread, you could say your thesis, is in the Strength card, Oracle card in reverse. Unfortunately, this pops up when something is in dire need to be fixed and ASAP. This can be your physical well-being. This could be through exhaustion. Maybe you're not eating correctly. And remember, I want to be clear for anybody because this is such a huge issue for a lot of people. Not eating correctly does not have anything to do with your weight or your beauty or anything like that. That is not true. Everyone's beautiful, all shapes and sizes. I want to be absolutely clear about this. It's like, are you making decisions because you genuinely want to go eat fun food, or are you kind of like on purpose hurting yourself and it doesn't feel good? Because quote unquote fun food, or what many people would label as quote unquote bad food, is not bad. It's just how you're putting it in your body and associating with it. So just want to be absolutely clear about that. I don't want to upset anyone. But it's like, are you taking care of your energy, your emotions? Is something not working out even relationship wise? This is important. It's about facing it and dealing with it and strengthening it and fixing it. You can't let it go, or it's gonna... Sometimes the universe shows us messages or tries to let us know about something, and sometimes when we're learning about that thing that isn't working out, it's trying to let us know about that. It cannot be fun. We don't have to, by the way, if you ever are learning lessons through life, and you don't like learning, like let's say you always learn lessons by dating people that are not great. This is not the scenario in this particular case, but let's just be clear about that. You can tell the universe, I'd like to stop learning this lesson now, thank you, and the universe will listen. It's really easy as that. But if we're not taking care of something, it's not strong enough, it's kind of not good, the universe might come in and push it and show you how fragile it is, and then the repercussion, or the sort of, not repercussion, the result of that will not be fun to experience. We don't want that for you. So this is your higher self going, check in, you're not checking in. Now, that is clear when we have the High Priestess in reverse. This is when we are not seeing things clearly. Maybe you're distracted. Well, actually, I can tell you right now, I know you're distracted when we have a 2 of Cups scenario over here, and we'll get into that in a second. This is nothing bad, but we'll get into that in a second. But essentially you're distracted and all your attention is not properly placed on sort of the red flags that are popping up around you. And again, we just want to be clear, it does not have to be a big deal now. So it might just seem as simple as like, oh, you're right, I'm not sleeping enough. Is that it? It doesn't feel like that big of a deal. Yes, go sleep more. Instead of suddenly the universe gives you a scenario where you have to stay awake for another 48 hours having to work on something and that's not fun or whatever. If you go sleep now, the universe won't send you that lesson. Do you see what I'm saying? So anyways, this is something you are overlooking. You are not giving it your attention and you just need to. It's being facing over here. These 2 are trying to reach out to each other and connect, essentially. She's on her little laptop emailing her as we speak. Now over here, the big major thing I see popping up in the issue department is over here in the Seven of Wands department in reverse and the Ace of Wands in reverse. Both of these explicitly talk about your energy levels being off. I actually have a whole video. I think I just posted it like a week ago or something. I actually highly recommend watching it. It's not very long, but it goes into incredible detail about the idea of energy being a major factor in people's lives that they oversee, especially if you are not a very spiritual person. A lot of people just believe like, oh, well, if I'm not into energy levels and I'm not sensitive to those energy levels, then they do not exist and they do not affect me. But here's the cosmic joke on everyone. They are still there and they still do affect you. It's still there. It's still something that's popping up, even if you might not be sensitive enough to always feeling it. And the dangers of that, not of being aware of it, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the dangers of it being off, and we will come to a solution. Do not worry about that. Is in that video I talk about how sometimes people don't know their energy levels are off, and then they start to react to it emotionally. They'll feel fatigued. They will feel angry. They'll feel sad. And then because they are not quite sure why they're feeling this out of nowhere, they start to equate this to a particular, they make up a reason. They're like, maybe this is why it's bothering me. And then you try to fix the problem that it isn't the issue, and then you never seem to get better, and then it just becomes sort of a continuous cycle. I don't want to say forever. You do get better in a lot of cases for a lot of reasons, but let's speed up the process, so to speak. I can see over here in the Seven of Wands, you are severely burnt out and spent as a major thing of your energy field kind of being messed up. And same thing over here in the Ace of Wands. It's kind of disrupting you from kind of starting anything new, trying anything new. There's a sense of moving forward that is being repeated again explicitly that this energy field needs to be fixed. You might say, okay, well, how do I solve that? Super easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can do it in a bunch of different ways. You're welcome if you want to see like an energy, somebody who works with chi. You welcome to work with someone who's a Reiki master, but you are also welcome to listen to like a guided meditation about your chakras being balanced. That's another easy one, or like your energy being cleansed. That's an easy one. But here's one that is my personal favorite that I noticed the biggest results for. You just do this for 10-15 minutes, super easy peasy. I want you to sit down, quiet space, and you're going to imagine that there's a big cloud above you, and that big cloud is going to open up, and you're going to ask permission from Source. If this is not a comfortable subject for you, you can say the universe, whatever floats your boat. I'm going to just say Source now. And you're going to say, hello, Source, may I please connect to you? Hello, universe, may I please connect to you? And you're going to wait a second, and they're going to be like, yes. Whether you hear this or not is not important. And you're going to imagine a beam of light coming from that cloud and going right into your head. And then you're going to imagine it going through every single part of you. You're going to imagine it going through your head, your eyes, your neck, where your heart is, through your lungs, going all the way down. And then you're going to take a moment and say, hello, Mother Nature, Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever the term you want to say. Hello, Earth. And you're going to say, can I please connect to you? You're going to wait a second. You don't have to hear it, but they most likely will be like, yeah, of course. And then you're going to send that light into the earth and have that connect around the core of the earth to give you grounding. Then you're going to just kind of concentrate on that. You're going to think of the light coming from Source. You're going to think of it passing through you. You're going to think of it going into the earth helping you feel a sense of grounding and stableness. This is amazing. This will just totally rebalance your energies, rebalance your chakras, make you feel amazing. In most cases, I've personally seen and felt myself, but have seen even rookies who are new to meditation will feel a sort of tingling vibration because it's so powerful. It's super effective. Love it. And then when you are done, and you're good to go, and you're like, okay, I did that for 15 minutes, whatever, I set my timer, you're going to say goodbye, Mother Earth, and then imagine that light coming back into you. Goodbye, source. Thank you so much, everybody. And then you're going to think of that light going back into source. But I want you to keep in some important to something at the end of this brief meditation. There will be a light, like your own personal light of recharging, still within you. So even though the light will leave those respective places like source and earth, you will still have your own little version all charged up. And it's really just that simple, quick and easy. I just want to, I'm not trying to go on a rant here. We have one last important thing, but I'm really trying to get out the message out there. A lot of issues that can plague people for years, for months. I'm telling you, it is shocking how many things can be spiritually solved in like 10 minutes. And I mean like the majority of things. So just go meditate, get your energy fixed, and you're going to be good. Now, that being said, Two of Cups. So the main reason all of this is happening is for some people who are in relationships, you're just in love, you're having a great time, and you're giving it too much attention, which is then in turn causing you to sort of neglect other things. And we talked about your energy being neglected, and you can solve that real easily. And in some scenarios with some people who are like, well, I'm not in a relationship, this is like you're so focused on it and you're kind of dreaming about it, you're so excited about it. Again, same scenario. But the cool thing is, this is nothing to be criticized. It doesn't mean you have to give this up. Not at all. In fact, actually, this is a huge compliment. This is like an added part of the reading from your higher self, that your perspectives on love and your interactions are going swimmingly. You're putting out the right vibrations. You have the right sort of beliefs and morals for yourself, and they're being executed and reflected back to you gorgeously. Everything's going great. You're nothing needs to be solved or fixed here. It's just about evening out where your attention is going so you don't accidentally neglect other parts of yourself, essentially. And so a way you can do that is you can tell your loving partner, for some of you who have a partner, and say, hello, partner, I need to go work on meditating. Do you want to meditate with me? I found out about my energy today. And you're just telling them about it and sharing it with them. And it's an added bonus. And for others who are like, well, I'm not with anyone, you can be like, wow, I can't wait to tell them about it someday. Because it's always good to put out these sort of fantasy in order to positively attract. You're telling the world, this is what I want, and the world gives it back to you. So I love that. Not a big deal, just something you can solve pretty much instantly and continue to enjoy. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I did, as you can tell. Please consider giving the video a like, comment, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, all that positive jazz. Give it a share. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I will see you in the next one. I am wishing you the best. Goodbye.